what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to Get Hit with the Truth. So today, doing the 2021 year-end top 10s continue with my number 4 lightweight in the world right now at 135 pounds, the WBC lightweight champion, Devin Haney, the undefeated Devin Haney. Now, Haney entered 2021, really needed to prove himself. Him and Ryan Garcia were in the same boat. They hadn't fought anybody even close to the top 10, and they had to prove that they were worthy of what their names were. You know, they're big on social media. Their names are big about how talented they are and stuff, and they were beating subpar fighters, but they had to prove themselves coming in. You know, Devin Haney was not ranked coming into 2021 for me. But in his first fight out in May, at the end of May, he would defend his title against former 3-division world champion Jorge Linares. And I really felt this was going to be a huge test for him. I picked him to win a unanimous decision based on his skills and Linares' age. But I wanted to see how good he was going to do. And to be honest, the first 9 rounds, he absolutely dominated Jorge Linares, which was surprising. I felt like Linares would have won some rounds, but it really was about 8 rounds to 1. I mean, he was dominating the action. Linares was landing punches here and there, but, you know, which set up the 10th round that saw Linares score a huge right hand that hurt Devin Haney badly at the end of the round. And Devin Haney went into holding mode as he held on for dear life for the next couple rounds. So much so to where he was jumping and grabbing grabbing Linares, and really had to hold on, but he ended up finishing the fight and walked away with a clean unanimous decision. So outside of a little bit of controversy because of that, Devin Haney scored a clean and big win in May and threw himself into the top 10 with that win, beating a former world champion and very talented Jorge Linares. Well, he tried to get whoever he could in the ring, the biggest names, following that victory. And after the fight in November with Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz fell through, Haney and Jojo Diaz talked a lot of shit on social media to each other, and Haney got the fight that he wanted, as Jojo said, "Let's do this," and in December, the two would lock horns for the WBC lightweight title. And Haney went out there and proved again with used his height and his reach and just consistently beat Jojo to the punch and outboxed and outclassed him en route to a clean 12-round unanimous decision. I had about 8 rounds to 4. Jojo had his moments. Jojo's a really talented fighter as well, but I had to give it to Devin Haney. He boxed very well and really had a great year. You know, you could argue that he was the lightweight of the year. I gave it to Kambosos for his win over Teofimo Lopez, but you could argue defeating 2 top 10 legitimate fighters like Linares and Jojo Diaz, that he was the lightweight of the year. But Devin Haney definitely is a serious player at 135 heading into 2022. Now, his stats, he's only 23 years old, very young. Overall, 27-0 with 15 knockouts. And, you know, like I said, he wasn't ranked coming into this year, and he's already at number 4 in maybe the number 2 division in boxing, and some people could argue the number 1 division in boxing. So he really has a lot going for him right now, and I can't wait to see him back in action. The big question is who's he gonna fight? You know, as of right now, the WBC is not ordering Devin Haney and George Kambosos to fight, because Kambosos, outside of being a unified champion, he also, I consider him and Haney kind of half champions of the WBC, because Kambosos is the franchise champion and Haney is the regular champion. And the WBC has come out a couple times now and said that that's the legitimate belt that Kambosos has, but then Devin Haney's also the legitimate champion. So it's a little confusing, and the only way to clear it up is to order that fight. But You have Vasily Lomachenko, which is a bigger fight. He's a bigger name than Devin Haney, and he's the mandatory. He's the number one contender in the WBC and the WBO right now. And I believe that the governing bodies are going to get together and order Lomachenko to fight Kambosos for the unified belt. And that's going to leave Devin Haney on the outside looking in, at least for the first half of the year. And, so what does he do in the first half of the year? Well, I really don't think, I think Linares is out. I think Jojo Diaz is out, obviously. Why rematch those two guys? He already beat them soundly. So for me, I think it would make sense for him to possibly fight Javier Fortuna. Even though he's coming off the loss of Jojo Diaz, he's a very credible opponent. But I also think maybe fight a guy like Ivan Mendy, because he's not going to get anybody else in the top 10 to fight him, that's really a legitimate threat. I mean, even the guys that are tied for 10th, an outside shot is Lee Selby, but he definitely wouldn't be seen as a threat. If the fight with Isaac Cruz can be made, that'd be great, but I don't think the two sides will cross the street and get the fight made. That's just my opinion. I just doubt it. But Haney, he has a piece of the championship, of the undisputed championship. And, if Lomachenko or Kambosos, the winner of that, whatever, want to fight him, then they got to do it. I do think there's still an outside chance he could get Kambosos next. He said he's willing to go all the way to Jupiter to fight him. So that means he'd be willing to go to Australia. But we just got to wait and see. But Devin Haney, a lot of promise, looking very good. I just hope he gets the opponent selection in 2022 and he gets that big major fight that he really wants. So we'll see what happens, but that's the 2021 year-end top 10s. My number 4 lightweight in the world right now, the WBC lightweight champion, Devin Haney. I hope you guys enjoyed it. True Boxing.